is Bernie Sanders? Really? New details on his past that, well, should cause every single one of us to stop and to think. Reports say Bernie Sanders was a well-educated, University of Chicago, hippie who loved protesting, just loved it. He's always been complaining about income inequality, even at a time when there really wasn't a whole lot of income inequality. And, you know, he never even held a steady job, never had a steady paycheck until he was 40 years old, when he became mayor of Burlington, Vermont. And he's been living off the government ever since then. No wonder he does not respect entrepreneurship and private enterprise. Fox contributor Leslie Marshall is back with reaction. And also here, another Fox contributor, Guy Benson, political editor for townhall.com. Good to see you guys. Guy, starting with you. I mean,
hi.
This is a guy who's kind of a bit of a bum.
Yeah, the editorial that you sent me earlier today, I had not heard or read any of these things, or a few of these things at least, about Bernie Sanders. Am I particularly surprised by his career trajectory? Not particularly. I think it might have some sort of impact on Bernie Sanders and his electoral prospects, especially if he became the nominee, which I don't think he will, because I'm not sure how many Americans want to vote not only for a socialist, but for someone who was effectively a deadbeat for decades as an adult, who now is dumping all over the capitalist system that helped build this country into something very special and great. He is a guy who ultimately, though, is proposing reckless, irresponsible, unaffordable projects, even according to Hillary Clinton. That's where I think you can hit him hardest, with some of this background stuff being of interest, but not central.
Well, I just wonder why this hasn't come up earlier. You say this is the first you've seen of it, Guy. Leslie, you know, if I were Hillary Clinton, I think I'd be shouting this from the rooftops. I mean, this is a guy who just doesn't believe in the very economic system that has made this country this strong. This is a guy who doesn't really believe in being a participating member of society and was effectively checked out till he was 40.
But right now, it is a primary process with Democrats, and those who support Bernie don't have a problem with this, because what they see is somebody who's been consistent on the issues, consistent on his passion, and that he took time. Oh, I'm not a carpenter, I'm not this. Hey, I can get something done through politics, through legislation, and stood separately as an independent. So this is something actually those that rally around him don't have a problem with. And this is the difference, and clearly the difference between a socialist, democratic socialist or otherwise, and a progressive. Mrs. Clinton understands that capitalism is necessary for a thriving economy, and of course Senator Sanders wants none of that, and that's where I would say is definitely one of the big divides between those who are pro-Hillary and those that are pro-Bernie.
Leslie, do you think that people that are pro-Bernie even understand what socialism is?
I do, because I think that there are people, and the people that have called my show and asked, you know, we ask them to define themselves, because technically Democrats could be liberals, progressives, socialists, and still be Democrats, or can we? And I think they do understand. They don't look at it as just a government handout. They look at it as it takes a village. We pay into the system, and that we need to change the way the system has been, you know, taxing certain individuals, and that the country will only be better for it. But there's got to be a balance, and that's what we see offered from Mrs. Clinton as opposed to Senator Sanders.
All right, well, you know, I still think if I were her, I'd be shouting this from the rooftops, and I'd be fighting him hard on this socialism thing, because this is going nowhere, and his ideas for this economy, they're going nowhere. Leslie, Guy, thank you so much. Good to see you guys.